Hello guys, you are still on the Our Media Sports channel. Do follow us on all social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and then especially on YouTube, yes, as we bring you up to speed news from your world of sports. We will be delving into the top matches that happened over the weekend in Europe, especially England, yes, where Arsenal took on Fulham and then won, and then by that win, they are able to sustain their position or maintain their position at the top of the EPL. Doing this, I have with me here first Atiga Mauli. First, you're welcome, bro.
Thank you.
Let's go straight to action. Arsenal against Fulham. Yes, Arsenal won by a goal to nil. They have to dig very, very, very deep to get that win, and then that has led to them sustaining at the highest points of the league log. Yes, they are on top of the league log. What do you think of that game?
Well, coming after the international break, you know that they've got a couple of injuries out there. Martin Odegaard, their schema, their number 10 is not in the squad. So I thought and knew that it was going to be a difficult game. And Fulham sometimes posed as a danger, to the big clubs who are gunning for the title. And against Arsenal, they were very, very tight at the back, and that is one of the things that the mid-table clubs tend to do when they come up against clubs like Chelsea, United, and then Man City. They tend to play in the low block, and in the first half, if you watch the game critically, you realize that they were tactically astute. They defended numbers. They were able to sustain the pressure that Arsenal were giving to them. But at the end of the day, Arsenal with so much quality, because Arsenal have got so much quality than Fulham, so they were able to get that goal that made it possible for them to get all the 3 points. And to me, that's the most important. That's the most critical thing when it comes to football, for you to be able to get 3 points, whether you are playing well or not. And Arsenal is in a two-way fight with Liverpool.
Early days, yeah.
No, it is not early days. We all know that they have got a firepower. Man City is coming to the midst, but Arsenal is showing their title credentials. Arsenal is showing that, because these are some of the matches that last season and last 2 seasons, Arsenal on the normal they would have lost. You understand? But I mean, they were able to go to Fulham and then get all the 3 points by not playing that well. But at the end of the day, they were able to get a job done, and the job being done is to get 3 points.
Okay, so still on the Arsenal Fulham game. One thing we witnessed, Izzy, he's been tried on the left hand side and then also in the middle, and then mostly he's been mostly effective in his days with at the Selhurst Park. He's always been that number 10 player, but then because of the formation Arteta is playing, he's shifted him to the wing side rather, and then it looks like he's been on and off. We've not really seen the real Eze with the national team. Even the national team has been quite good, but then the Eze we saw in the Selhurst Park is not the Eze we are seeing with the Arsenal squad. Do you think he's been taking off his position? That's what is limiting him from unleashing his real potential or something.
As a player, right? The tactics should not limit you. You understand? I mean, especially if you're that good. You understand? Because like you rightly indicated, is it at Crystal Palace was mostly played as a number 10. Sometimes he plays on the flanks, but mostly plays as a number 10. You've come to an Arsenal squad that has got so much, a litany of stars. You understand? You can compare the players at Arsenal to the players at Newcastle. Yeah. They've got about 3 quality players who can play as a number 10 or a number 8. Yes, he's got the quality to play as a number 10, but is he going to bench Odegaard? That's the question that we have to be asking. You understand? And then when you drop him further back as a number 8, we've got Zubimendi, we've got Merino, we've got, let's see, we forget Merino, we've got Declan Rice.
Yes.
So who is he going to bench between the two? So that is why, as a player, you need to be very flexible. You understand? Whether on the flanks or through the middle, you would have to bring out the quality. And Eze has got so much quality to play across the front line, whether as a striker, whether as a number 10, or whether on either flank. So I think that should not be the reason for which he's not performing at a standard that we expect him to perform. But I mean, players do dip in form, but at the end of the day, it's not because of the positional change that is making it impossible for him to play as the Eze that we all know.
Okay, so I believe it's early days yet. Yes, man, the 8, the 9 to the Premiership we are going about 38 matches, but then the Force still says no. Arsenal are on top, and then it's not early. Do you think this is their moment? This is the time they'll be waiting for all this while?
A couple of years ago, we all or we get indications as to who is going to win the league. You understand? I mean, when Man City won it 4 on the row every season, you know that it was Man City that was good because they start and they blaze through, you know, every single position. Man City could go 10 matches unbeaten. You understand? So Arsenal is showing some signs that they can mix and then hang in there. And then what is going to aid Arsenal is the fact that Liverpool is misfiring, because they've lost 4 matches on the trot. So what is going to aid Arsenal is the fact that the big boys that are chasing them should be having a difficult patch. Then it's going to aid Arsenal. But for Arsenal to really go all the way, then they would have to make sure that the matches that they were losing that last season and last 2 seasons, especially against the likes of Aston Villa, Newcastle, and then Wolves and stuff like that, they would be able to go to those grounds and then get the points. And that's exactly what they are doing. They went to Fulham, Craven Cottage, and then got the 3 points.
Okay, so away from Arsenal, Fulham, let's focus our attention on Chelsea. Yes, Chelsea came up against Nottingham Forest. In that game, ended up with one manager losing his job right after the match. Less than 10 minutes or so, the manager of Nottingham Forest, Ange Postecoglou, lost his game, lost his position as the head coach of the club. First, is it that Chelsea were... No, let me begin with this. Do you sack a coach after playing Chelsea, a typical Chelsea team? Will you, if you were a team owner, will you sack a coach for losing against Chelsea?
He wasn't sacked for losing against Chelsea. He was sacked because the results have not been good. You understand? And, you know, one thing about football is the fact that it's a results game. You understand? Managers are hired to be fired. That is the mantra when it comes to football.
Not to cut you short though, but then this man has been in charge for less than 40 days.
You're not getting to the point. There's an adage that when you are on the wrong bus, it is most advisable that you get down at the next junction, because returning to where you came from is easier than staying on the bus for a longer period of time. You understand? So if Marinakis, the owner of Nottingham Forest, has realized that he has made the wrong appointment, I don't think that he should wait further into the season before making the managerial change. Because see, from the beginning, I know that that marriage is not going to work. You understand? Because the way Nottingham Forest has been able to play for the past 2-3 seasons is totally different from the way Ange Postecoglou plays. You understand? And for you to, you know, now come into Nottingham Forest and then try as much as possible to change their style of play, right? From the way they are always in the defensive block, because they have always been a counter-attacking team. You understand? And the fact that they've made massive recruitment, even though they saw some of their best players.
Yes, Elanga and Cole.
It's going to be difficult for Ange Postecoglou to come in and then play the sort of way he wants to play, unless he wants to play defensive football. And nobody should lie to you. From Australia to Scotland to England, Ange Postecoglou would never play in the defensive shape. It has never happened in his almost 20-year career. And so I knew from the beginning that marriage was not going to last. But the question that I was asking is that, will the players be able to buy into the ideas early enough? They might be able to buy into the ideas, but is it going to be early enough for the results to show? Because if maybe 6-7 matches into the season and you are not keeping clean sheets, you are not winning matches, you are dropping points here and there, at the end of the day, the man with the power is going to think that, no, maybe I made a wrong decision to appoint you, and that's exactly what the owner of the Nottingham Forest has done.
I personally feel this has been unlucky because he's lost a couple of players, very, very key players, the likes of Ola Aina, injury.
They are all part of the game. You understand? Because when you go to Tottenham last season and the last 2 seasons, last season we all knew that Tottenham had a lot of injuries. You understand? But that did not prevent him from winning the Europa League, even though they placed, I think, almost 17th or 16th on the league law. That is the reason for which he was sacked. You understand? But last season, Tottenham had the most injuries in the English Premier League. That would have been a caveat. That would have been an excuse. But that is not what teams are looking for. You've been given so much money. You've been given so much resources to buy players. And a lot of players have been bought for Nottingham Forest, even though they were not at the request of Ange Postecoglou, because the season has started before he came in. But as a manager, you come in and then you play a system that's going to fit the players. But you see, the problem is always that when a manager comes in after the season has started, it is quite difficult to get the ball rolling. You understand?
No preseason.
Yes, it is quite difficult for the. You see, the problem too with Nottingham Forest is the fact that they have been grilled in the defensive shape. You understand? So for you to be able to change the mentality of these players takes a longer period of time for them to buy into the idea of playing an attacking, exuberant, expansive football. So that is where Postecoglou got it wrong. And I don't think that he got it wrong. That is how he knows how to play. So I think that the appointment in the first place was wrong.
Wrapping up on that particular Nottingham Forest issue, do you think that the owner, Evangelos Marinakis, has been too much involved in the team's management and stuff? He's been interfering too much. You see him in the locker room, you see him around just behind the pitch, and then he's always been involved in key decision making and stuff. Do you think, like, unlike Chelsea's owner, you don't normally see him around the team because he has a sporting director, but then in this case he's more like the sporting director, assistant coach, and everything? Don't you think it's also a reason why the team is diminishing in form and stuff?
He has been part of the team since they came into the Premiership, you understand? And coaches have come in there and performed.
Also, he's sacking his previous coach, Nuno Espirito Santos. Like, these were many of the fans believe these are the reasons his team is not been performing well, because you don't sack a coach of that caliber, a coach that has been with you, qualified you to European football and stuff. So if as you said earlier, he knew the decision of appointing Postecoglou was a wrong one. How about the initial decision of sacking Nuno Espirito Santos as well? You
can't tell me that Nuno Espirito Santos is the only good coach in the world. You understand? So sacking Nuno, sacking Nuno wasn't sporting wise. You understand? I mean, they had issues, bad football. You understand? That is the reason for which he was sacked, not because of the way they were playing or the results, but because they were doing very well. You know? But you see, but when you ask me about his involvement in the team, that is how he's managed his teams, from Olympiacos to Nottingham Forest. Yes, even when they were in the Championship, he has a hands-on role responsibility when it comes to his clubs, and you can fault him because every single owner has a way that he manages his team. Like, if you go to Chelsea, like you rightly indicated, the Tomboilies do not have that connectivity, that connectivity with the club. Instead of like you see them daily involved, their daily involvement. You understand what I mean? And you go to other clubs where you see the owners having a daily involvement in the running of the club, and that is what the owner of Nottingham Forest does. So I don't think that it is a problem. The problem is that the next appointment is a critical one, because you would have to find a coach that is not going to deviate from what the team already knows. You understand? And mind you, they are in Europe and they are also playing in the league. So that is also going to take a toll.
Yes.
You get a point. So the next appointment is going to be very key in how the season is going to turn up for Nottingham Forest.
Okay, so finally, let's wrap up with some German football. And then BVB fell short at the hands of Bayern Munich. So Bayern Munich continued their dominance in the league. They won against Borussia Dortmund 2-1 in this week's fixture. First, very quick one. Vincent Kompany. Yeah, he's doing the job. Many doubted him, but so far so good for him.
No, you see, you don't. When you go to a team like what's the name, Bayern or PSG or Feyenoord or what's the name, or Barcelona or Real Madrid, you understand? As a coach, even if you're an average coach, if you're able to galvanize the players, you don't need so much tactics, because you see, the gulf in difference when it comes to quality between Bayern Munich and the rest of the German Bundesliga teams is vast. You get a point. I am not taking away anything from what what's the name, Kompany is doing that, because as a coach, you should be able to understand that your players, bring out a tactical formation that will suit them, and he's been able to do that because they steamroll every single opposition in the German Bundesliga. So I am not going to sit here and then take away the good job that he's doing, because last season what he's been able to do, and you see the fact that he led Burnley to relegation and then got, because nobody gets the job of coaching Bayern Munich after leading Burnley to relegation. It is practically impossible. So I would say that yes, it's not a good job, but Dortmund is going to find it difficult to beat Bayern, and that is what we also. I mean, the class and difference was just bare for everybody to see.
Okay, so you heard that from Force. So for many more news like this and many more discussions, kindly log on to YouTube and then do follow us on our media sports and then across all social media networks, especially Facebook. We post a lot of stories there and reels there, so you can just get some of these contents on TikTok as well, and then also X, formerly Twitter. So yes, my name is Courage. I did this with Force. Catch you some other time. Bye bye.